Hey, you. Yeah, you. Good morning. Good morning. I said good morning. Yeah. So that was weird. It is 6:50 a.m. on Thursday, September 14th, 2017. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. Yeah, that was a little bit of a weird startup. I don't know what that was all about. Last night's So Many Levels session went pretty well, I think. Uh, it featured an encounter that I had originally planned in a much more scaled down version um, a long time ago, uh, but the party just kind of never went that way. And so now that they were finally coming around to it again, they're higher level, and so I figured, yeah, let's bump them up a little bit. Um, and so that was, yeah, that was fun. We had them invest, but see, bumping it up and also just making it more elaborate and more interesting. And so instead of just being a farm, it's actually a farm that is a front for an operation that makes counterfeit health potions. It was good stuff. Um, so, um, I felt like I had something more. See, you guys who watch these videos may or may not be aware that I myself, despite having done it for a while now, have mixed feelings about the idea of doing these videos first thing in the morning when I don't really have my brain together yet. Is that actually a good idea? Does it help my brand? I'm not sure. Um, I suppose what it does is establish my brand as being doesn't quite have acts together. You know, branding is an interesting thing, where just the idea of whether it's something you cultivate or because in any brand is naturally going to be a simplified version of whatever you kind of want to do anyway. I mean, I would say anyone who's trying to establish a brand, personal brand that is very different from their own personality, probably not going to have good luck with that because it's just going to be that much more difficult to maintain it. Because I think even when you do have a personal brand that is very in keeping with who you are normally, you're still going to be faced constantly with cases where the instinctive thing that you feel like you want to do is maybe not in keeping with whatever your personal brand would be. Like even if you don't run into that constantly, you're still going to be occasionally saying, okay, well, does this contribute to my brand or not? And obviously, people will care about that to greater or lesser extent, but I've never really been good at enforcing any sort of a coherent brand. I tend to just do whatever I want to do. But what that often leads to is a much less focused and less professional looking presentation. And I'm not 100% sure how much I care about that. You know, I do look at other people who are like big on YouTube or, big in podcasting or writing and all of that sort of thing. And I kind of wonder to myself, that seems like it would be good if I was really successful at doing something like that. But am I willing to do what it takes to accomplish that? Slash, do I think that if I were to try, would it be effective? I don't know. That's a bigger question, right? Because there can be that element of underachievement, right? Where you are in this context, the idea would be I fear that even if I put all my effort into it, I would still not succeed. And therefore, if I do not put all my effort into it, that produces a result that I can control. And that feels better. I don't know. I don't know that I would necessarily call myself an underachiever. I think there's probably, I feel like a lot of people think of me as doing a lot of stuff. And I suppose that's true in one sense, but it's also not very focused, right? And so that's the dilemma that I'm always thinking about is just like, well, I'm doing a lot of stuff as far as like D&D and podcasting and writing and stuff like that. But if I just kind of picked one and worked harder at doing just that and making it extra good, probably that thing would be better. But would it? Because at the same time that I suspect that it would, logic would suggest that it would. Would I be happy giving up the other things? I don't know. That is probably a dilemma that no one has ever effectively solved because it is always purely hypothetical in every scenario. You can't know until you try. Anyway, that's where I'm rambling today, so I will talk to you guys tomorrow for 5 more minutes.